start the smack talk.
It's my favorite thing in Challengers to tilt one of the teams before the game starts.
You know, you've been indirectly, or actually directly, influencing results.
Shh, competitive integrity is everything. Don't do this for me.
I gotcha.
All right, so here we go. The picks and bans starting up here, and it's interesting because, yeah, Xmithie pulling Elise ban, certainly a champion he's been very, very good on, but always interesting to see teams respect that so much that they're like, you know what, this is a one-sided ban for us. We don't really want to play it, but we know Xmithie's great at it, so Elise goes off the table, which I respect and honestly really like a lot. I think very few teams actually pull one-sided bans like this. Instead of banning the meta champions, you ban what they really enjoy. Same for the Twitch ban, right? Like, yeah, okay, Twitch is seen sometimes, but more often than not, it's because it's OQ playing it.
Yeah, it's pretty much OQ's best performing champion.
And the Illaoi. I love bans like this. It makes me give so much more respect to the teams here.
Yeah, this also means
very one-sided bans.
This also means that Vladimir Azir Rise, one of them is going to get first picked here, most likely. GBM has only played one Azir game though, and it was a loss, and he was like 1-4 on it. And I think that might be what CLG is going for because they want to have Huhi with that Azir pick.
Yeah, I know he likes it a lot, and he's shown good results on Rise. The final ban coming through for NRG is Jax. And again, it's bans at things the other team has shown success on, because a meta champion you can just trade back and forth for. If you pick Rise, I'll pick Azir. You know what? That's probably okay for us. But what do we be Illaoi with? Well, I don't know. No one plays it. It's way better ban.
You gotta think about that. And also this last ban, it's probably gonna be a meta ban of Vladimir because GBM has carried on Vladimir, and that's been a lot of energy success.
That's the one champion I would actually give you over, is that he's so good on this one. But actually, no, it's another OQ ban. So interesting. Caitlyn removed off the table. I know OQ's been pretty happy to play Lucian, even after the various nerfs and whatnot, so it still gives him something to play. But yeah, 2 target bans at OQ on the slightly sort of specialized chance for him, and the Quas Illaoi. Everything else is up, and I want to see what kind of horse trading goes down.
I'm trying to think, because right now, out of all of these bans, I don't think you typically see any of them.
These are all like 15% ban rate champions. Like Kindred's probably the most contested, and even that's probably like a quarter of games.
Yeah, it's like Elise, I think, has like...
I don't think you see almost any Elise because you've got Rek'Sai, Gragas, all these other things. And actually, look at that. It's not even the Vladimir. It's Karma.
Wow.
Karma is the 4th most contested champion in pro play in the summer split. Beneath, as you mentioned, Vladimir, Azir, and Rise. But NRG wants flexibility right off the bat, and they can, again, bargain for the other side, because how often are you going to take Azir and Rise and Vlad at the same time anyway? You're going to get one regardless.
Yeah, but I think you have to pick Vladimir here because, yeah, exactly, because you can't give Karma Vladimir to a team. That's a death sentence.
And it basically, NRG felt like the standalone champion they wanted the most was actually Karma. You can still see some Swain, not even if it's just Quas, but just Swain in general seems to typically work with shielding compositions. I think Swain can handle Vladimir okay. From my experience playing the matchup, it's not great for Swain on the one-on-one, but it's not completely abysmal. Of course, the early priority on Rek'Sai comes through for CLG, with, keep in mind, a couple of jungle bans coming through. Could push Santorin down slightly. Though Nidalee is up there as another high-contested jungler, and Gragas ain't bad either. And if you're Meteos, you got Graves.
Yeah, that's true. I was looking at the champion pool for Huhi. He's played Vladimir twice, and they've both been losses with an overall 0-4 and 5 record. But he played it really early on, weeks 1 and 2. So a very early adopter of the Vladimir and jumped on it in his first few matches.
Well, look at this, though. It looks like Meteos and Santorin decided to share notes a whole bunch before class, because we normally don't see a ton of Graves, but now both these players have been prioritizing that champion quite highly, honestly.
I want to see what his keystone is, because there's this Thunderlord's Graves going around right now, where it's all about that burst. Started popping up in Korea, and with the new Berserker Greaves, having a little more attack speed.
Yeah, I've also seen early Cleaver as well. That was buffed a bit earlier on in the split, but he kind of got benefit of a couple of items that really help him out a bit uniquely. So yeah, see that coming out for him. We'll see what it ends up being, though, as these teams try to scramble near the higher parts of the standings. Another Liquid is getting farther and farther out of reach. The only team they can really target to pull down to their level is Apex, who will be playing later on today. Apex still sitting at 4-4 right now. And if they lose, that puts CLG, if they win, at a tied spot, and they can try to climb up and over them for 6th place later on in the split. There is Lucian being grabbed up, not a super high priority, but enough to push it off of OQ before he can grab it himself. Aphromoo's Bard, of course, also very good. And even though NRG have 2 potential supports there, we might still see KiWiKiD pick up something different.
Yeah, he could go with Zyra. He could go with Ezreal for OQ. That may be what we see here if that is a karma for GBM. Ashe makes a lot of sense as well, but is it going to be a different mid laner? Would it be the Rise and that's a karma for the bottom lane? I think at this point, you want a really high impact mid laner like a Victor.
Also,
like
what are you going to buff with the karma?
Yeah, there isn't too much to do with that. Also against a Vladimir, you can get the root off when he's in the pool if you were to get the tether, but
there's a reasonable matchup there.
It's okay. We'll see what happens though, because that's what it's going to be.
Low damage team and all of its physical karma, not a really that threatening of a mid laner. GBM gonna play that in the mid lane. Trundle top will be the pickup there, and a blind pick top lane matchup, by the way, so not exactly beautiful, but Trundle has been kind of the king of top lane in this patch, so it's reasonable to go for here. But 3 high damage physical champions in Trundle, Graves, and Ashe. A Braum the tank and a Karma to support. I mean, it's a nice sort of well-rounded comp in that regard. You've got engage, you've got movement tools, but it's just physical heavy.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think that at this point, with the Trundle, you're okay with going physical heavy because of the resistances.
Right, and a cleaver on Graves is not out of the question either.
Yeah, but the fact that there's a lack of consistent magic damage, which has just been a big part of the meta. That's why we see that's why we see Vladimir and Rise be so highly contested, is because of that. And Karma is kind of that middle ground / substitute Lulu now. You really enable low mobility champions like the Trundle, like the Graves, so the composition can come around in that way. But overall, it's going to be kind of difficult here for NRG. They're going to look at some tank busting, but they also need to stop the slip push.
Well, the thankful thing for them is there's no great tanks on CLG. Yeah, junglers actually get decent gold income, so you can really consider Xmithie a reasonable tank. It'll probably be Cinderhulk, but he's getting a Sight Storm that'll lower his gold a little bit, and Darshan, of course, now on more of a fighter here with the Fiora in the top lane. I don't get to see a ton. Well, actually, I see a fair bit of Fiora versus Trundle, but it doesn't feel like the easiest matchup. I feel like both these players could definitely win the one-on-one. So Darshan versus Quas. And imagine that CLG wanted the NRG was happy to blind pick for themselves. And we'll see if the Fiora can outplay the Trundle, as the rest of CLG have, I think, only okay playmaking. You're hoping the team can follow up on a Bard ulti without any really further lockdown. Rek'Sai only okay at it. GBM and the rest of NRG having probably a few more tools for that, thanks to OQ's Ashe. We will see if it happens, but this could be a very interesting matchup based on somewhat limited engage tools, a very volatile top lane matchup where it's very gold and level dependent. And if one of the teams can get ahead, that's going to be a winning game. And, well, Stixxay said that in the old style, we played around top lane, we played around the bot lane, we made that matchup work, and maybe they can do it again here because Fiora was Trundle going to be volatile here. So as we get ourselves into the game, make sure to get your predictions on Twitter. If you're behind NRG, use the hashtag NRGWin. If you're behind CLG, then fans can tweet out hashtag CLGWin at Illaoi Esports. Let us know who it's going to be because we are ready to go into game 1 of this match to climb out of the bottom. NRG versus CLG. We got there eventually.
Yep. Both teams, though, if there's anything about these teams that we can really say, it's that expectations have been all over the place. CLG, 2-time defending champions, being all the way at the bottom of the standings, 8th place. It's like, well, that's insane. They had such a great performance at MSI, and NRG, people were expecting them, with all these individually skilled players, to be a little bit higher in the standings. And both these teams, as we reach the halfway point, are in danger of missing playoffs with all the talent that's come in and is occupying those top 4, top 5 spots at the moment.
Yeah, very true, honestly. It's really interesting seeing, if you look at, for example, GBM as a microcosm, like, was a pretty solid player over in Korea. Looked actually pretty good in Spring Split as well. It's not like he just didn't make the transition and the plane flight scarred him for life. But should have taken a Gen Air flight. Would have been better for him, right? But honestly, then Summer Split happens and he's suddenly the worst laning mid laner in the league. It's like, well, it feels like everyone got better, right? Like there's a ton of excellent players, right? Bjergsen and Jensen still around, and yeah, there's actually a lot of incredibly skilled talent now over in North America. Imports or not, these players are really good. And we'll see if, they can keep up with the ever-increasing power level of these teams. And I am actually shocked that that's what the vote is at right now.
But this means that CLG's stronger because they're being doubted. Oh, wait,
now they're going to lose.
Now they're going to lose.
Yep.
Oh boy.
They won game 1, they just lost game 2.
See, that's the thing is CLG are always contrary to expectations, right?
Yeah.
You don't expect them
Always the inverse of potential.
to win,
Yeah.
and they win, and then, or sorry, you don't expect them to win and they win, like,
The
people
exception
were
being
like,
the MSI finals.
Exactly.
Where that went
That
exactly
was-
as people expected.
that was the one that people were like, oh. But you
Yeah, it's SKT.
didn't expect them to get that far. But that's the thing is people got hyped. They're like, no, they're going to take down SKT.
No.
And then,
No one actually
Boom.
believed that. Okay, some people believe that. Those people are insane. Hashtag Money Cristo things.
I mean, he wouldn't have thought that, though. Who would have thought SKT?
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, pretty much everyone should have been on that
yeah.
boat coming into that final.
I gotcha. Oh, man. But yeah, overall, expectations have been all over the place for these teams, and even the champion select was something unexpected. The bans were very unusual from both teams. They were targeted, and then the picks, we see Azir fall through the cracks, we see Rise through fall through the cracks.
Right.
And that's quite shocking, actually, with all these high-priority champions up. And like NRG's draft actually looks a little bit like a Korean draft at the moment, because these are champions that they are favoring, mostly because those big ones are banned out.
Big utility-focused team, really. Right? And again, they do have much more of it than Counterlogic Gaming does. They've got actually a reasonable amount of pick-out tools, right? Braum can follow up, Trundle can follow up, with actual crowd control, right? With tools to keep your opponents in place. So, yeah, and the funny thing is, that's now a composition where NRG have to kind of have to win by making proactive, coordinated plays. Right? They've got to get in there and actually force their will on CLG.
Yep. And their engage is mostly that Ashe arrow. Got to get in there and land that. And looking at the keystones, it is Thunderlord's Graves. It's something that's been popping up quite recently. It's all about that burst, because if you can get in a nice, smooth auto attack Q, even if one part of the Q hits them, both parts it'll set off Thunderlords then.
Yep.
But your E auto attack reset just helps you. And sometimes you get a rapid fire cannon as well on top of it, so just even more burst.
That hit comes through.
And it's
yeah.
all about that.
Well, NRG, all about that burst. No ages. Boo from the crowd. Boo. I know. Hey, I didn't get to cast yesterday. There were 6, almost 7 games. I had to get him out there at some point. And we are here on a round 2 of the lane swap, which will actually be a heads-up one-on-one. So Quas actually took a fairly early recall, grabbing boots and a ruby crystal, and now joining the matchup against Darshan.
Yeah, which I think is a little bit of a mistake, because now Darshan will be able to farm this big wave. And it's actually, this is it. They think, but here comes the bottom lane. Here comes KiWiKiD. Oh, dude, they didn't ward.
What a sick play by NRG. They bait the entire situation. Xmithie's got to flash away. The flash to chase. They will land the stun. And that should be a dead Rek'Sai. NRG bait what would be a bad 1v2. And instead, they smashed CLG in the lane swap. That was sick.
They warded way earlier. Oh, they waited for the ward.
Yeah, actually, CLG should have been able to ward that too.
Yeah, what you do is you ward after the lane swap so that your top laner can safely farm there. Because if you see the bottom lane
you can see
coming
the
up,
dual lane coming normally.
Exactly. They didn't ward it.
Oh, CLG, how do you forget
Again,
that?
They warded earlier. They warded early, and then they kept Darshan there, and Darshan stuck around, and then Xmithie came to the bottom side, which is the deviation there, is that you don't usually see the jungler on that side of the map, because they're going to go help the split push on the opposite side again.
I actually wonder, because Trinket wards very early in the game have really short durations, right?
Yeah,
At
they
this point,
warded it and it expired.
They're at 71 seconds. I don't remember, actually, because I haven't lane swapped in a few months now, the actual timing you're supposed to drop this Trinket ward down. Now, this is NRG planning their stuff so well. They kill the turret a wave late to make sure they have the time for the ward to expire with the default timing. I would have to go back and look. Mark, I'm calling you out on this one. Please let me know.
I do think, though, that it's your timer, though. As a top laner, when that ward expires,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to go aggressive, because they had a big wave there. Darshan misses out on that wave.
But how often do you assume when Trundle TP's down, the dual lane's still coming, though, right? Like,
But you haven't seen the duo lane yet.
I know, but
it's a really nice adaptation.
do you really make that play, right? You're just like, yeah, they're just going to let us 2v0 the turret down.
Well,
like,
I mean, it's an incredibly aggressive play. You
I
have
know.
your Rek'Sai on that map on that side of the map with CC. I think that it's the play that you go for when you see it, but they just didn't take everything into account. And it bit them.
I mean, you're right, but I think this was so new that I don't think CLG had the reasonable expectation that the dual lane was coming. That's my initial guess.
Yes, exactly. We've legit talked about this now for 2 minutes, because it's
But
such a deviation.
It was the sickest play of this game so far. I love it. I'm pretty sure CLG didn't make any objectively wrong mistakes.
Ugh. No, I don't
cool
think
stuff.
I don't think so either. Like,
Wow, an early Zerkreeves for the
yeah,
Quas.
early Zerkreeves, right?
Yeah, you called it completely.
The extra attack speed on it just really helps him get that Thunderlords off. And this is a very offensive, it's for carrying, right? Like Santorin's going to try to be another carry in this game, and that's been what NRG have struggled with is transitioning the leads that Santorin gets his laners into a mid game. And Santorin, if he starts getting fed, then he has the possibility of going off with this game.
Oh, absolutely. So, NRG, let's see how long this comp works for. You can see Xmithie rushing Ninja Tappy as his first item. He's like, yeah, worried about physical damage. They're all auto attackers. Let's get rid of this thing right now. Huhi playing the farm off game against GBM, which is going pretty close to equal. You can see GBM is rushing Morellonomicon. Very smart choice. Getting that debuff onto Vladimir is a really big deal. Smart of him to make sure, above all else, that comes through.
Santorin should get closer to that turret. I know he wants to zone off Darshan from experience, but you're going to do more damage as Graves the closer you are.
Well, CLG have to worry about the damage they're taking as one hit Stixxay in the back. They're okay now, and they will be knocking on this turret without too much difficulty. Looks like there's going to be no rush, really, and should be okay for everybody as we crest close to 8 minutes in. Yep. We'll have 3 turrets going down, as eventually we did have the teams swap their dual lanes away from each other. Darshan tries to absorb,
but
both those top laners are level 4.
So NRG are going to try to bounce it, whereas CLG are continue to push it in.
Quas gets 5 off that, he will.
And Quas is going to get a decent amount off of that.
Yeah, there you go. Tags to 5, 8 minutes in. Actually, not the worst. You can see he's only 1 level behind his jungler. He's only 2 behind the mid laners, 1 behind the AD carry. Tied or 1 ahead of the supports based on the situation.
Darshan?
Quas, sorry.
Quas,
Specifically talking about Quas.
Yeah.
He's actually equal with aphromoo, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, Quas is doing well. Darshan a little bit down because of that death.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's assist experience for Quas.
Sure,
well,
he's ahead in gold.
Puts him ahead. So Darshan is 3 levels down right now on the mid laners.
Now, CLG still have made up the gold difference somewhat. You can see that it's only a 400 gold deficit when it should be 600 based on the first blood. So 200 gold of farm has come through overall for CLG above what NRG has done.
Yeah, it's mostly Stixxay and Huhi here.
Yeah, it is.
Stixxay's been farming really well, and they've been putting him in those lanes where he just shoves up.
Right. Keep in mind, OQ ran to a bot lane that they just gave to Quas anyway.
True.
Right? So he just sat there not farming in the top side for a while.
Yeah, and Santorin, I believe, has actually gotten some of those lane minions when they were pushing the wave out top.
Yeah, I imagine so.
But he's supposed to be another threat here.
Right, it's fine. Well, here we go. First Drake up is mounted and might start being in the targets and the sights of these players. Missed stun by Afro, but it's okay. Xmithie knocks it down, stacking up his Strength of the Ages. So we have the push towards Youmuu's for Stixxay, so despite the nerfs, he's still going for the armor pen build on him. That's fine. CLG, very defensive build for Huhi. Tank Vladimir is more common. Uh-oh, GBM. Gonna flash, gonna get knocked up. Red buff into the stun, and they've got the damage output. Maybe, just maybe. No, they don't. They're trying, but they can't knock down GBM. The heals come through just enough. Xmithie can't kill him, and there's the kill picked up. Another one now. 2 for 0. Sick again by NRG.
Wait. That magical journey,
was it?
I'll have to watch that again because aphromoo goes through, but then everybody else takes a mini journey.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It was quite awkward.
I don't know if that was intentional, but no one's pausing the game, so the players don't seem to mind. And we move on to this one. Xmithie farming back to his own jungle, saying, guys, they're trying to take my blue buff. They're trying to go for this stuff. And now Santorin getting assaulted, flashed away. He's got OQ near him, but there's a knockup. The hero play goes off, deals the damage. They will knock him down. Finally a kill on the board for Counterlogic Gaming. But now GBM has teleported in, slows down Xmithie. Won't find much more. And they're going to back off. CLG with small control over the Dragon Pit as Darshan continues to 1v1 against Quas.
Yeah, incredibly aggressive move there to invade on the right side of the map. Sure, you had gotten the kill onto one of the members of CLG previously, but still, it's Xmithie. He's got Void Rush. He's going to be able to come back. And honestly, a big mistake there from NRG, overstepping their bounds and giving up their lead.
Definitely agree. So unfortunate there by NRG to overstay, and where they gave Counterlogic Gaming not only a kill back, but also control over this Drake, which seems pretty much unassailable. KiWiKiD failing to dodge away from all of this. He's going to flash out from the stun. A big shield comes out of GBM, and he will survive it, but using a flash for that process.
Yeah, it's a level 6 support to a level 4. KiWiKid's been roaming around a decent amount. He's got 2 assists, but he hasn't been around the experience. And so he's missed out on that. Don't even know if he was expecting that to happen because
probably not.
aphromoo, honestly, that's pretty high level.
Yeah.
And we'll see this again here. GBM dodges. Stixxay looked like he backed up for a second there, and then TP comes through. Stixxay goes through, aphromoo goes all the way up, and Stixxay has to flash over. And then KiWiKiD tries to follow. Tiny journey. And then he goes back in, tiny journey.
I guess it's
aphromoo like
later
later
based on which side of the journey you came in from.
Yeah.
Because when KiWiKiD and Stixxay came in from the left, they came out the left side of the wall. Aphro came in from the right and actually went all the way through.
And he went second, so it wasn't the initial journey either. aphromoo went after Stixxay.
I wonder if this is a thing that actual like really good bard players, because this is the first time I've seen it. I don't play with a lot of good bards, so
walls are cool, but regardless.
Yeah, today I learned something.
Yeah, but honestly, NRG able to turn that around, and that's why they're up right now, 2 kills. And we've seen them have some leads leading into this point. It's just after 15 minutes, it all seems to crumble down after that early game for them. So this is for NRG. How are they going to be able to transition this, if they are at all?
We'll see, yeah, because this game is still very close. The flash engage on OQ, who he really wants this one to get a kill. They're going to trade flash in the end, and OQ gets right back out. Nice little ring around the Rosie. His pockets are full of Posey. They've made it away. They're going to be all right with this one.
Yeah, both flashes burn there, but now you can see CLG is actually putting Huhi in a side lane, giving him farm, allowing him to scale up. Now they're going to go ahead and put 3 people in the middle and push down the mid turret, the last remaining one. And maybe try to make a pick on Quas here. aphromoo almost has Tempered Fate back up. He might be able to catch Quas down the lane if he gets him to flash right now. So if Darshan can win this.
Well, he gets all the procs off and does basically no damage. Quas almost at full, puts the pillar down, but now he's on the wrong side of this fight because he's got a Bard and a Rek'Sai coming in to ruin his day. Summoner Teleport not available. Xmithie is there. This is the Unburrow, but doesn't seem to much matter. As Quas runs through a lot of dead turret debris, there's nothing really in his way. But he is out of mana, and NRG pushing mid.
Yeah, and instead, the aphromoo doesn't throw the Tempered Fate instead. Because he's going to just go die here. He knows he's going to die.
Needed to flash, but it doesn't ensure the assist comes through. There should be one more attack to kill him. Assist goes over to the Rek'Sai, and they're going to be all right. Mid lane does not go down, and now GBM is caught out. Can Afro land the stun? He's going to try. He gets it onto him, but now here comes the shield in front, and Afro's got to run, and get himself away. Caitlyn doesn't get a kill, but now Huhi is in the mix, ready to dive into the back line. They get a kill on GBM. The re-engage for Stixxay does not quite get stunned. One auto attack would have knocked him down, but it doesn't happen. And a double kill for the CLG AD carry. Gets a lead finally against NRG.
And CLG, 15 minutes almost around the corner for NRG, and they drop the ball again. CLG just took out top lane, took out, honestly, 2 more members after that, and it's off of these great collapses. They're playing the map better than NRG at the moment. aphromoo knew that Darshan was going to be able to get that kill, and Darshan even has teleport, so if this goes poorly, he can TP in, but he doesn't need to. Huhi shows up, has his ghost, used his flash previously, but still has this summoner spell, and it just gives him so much damage. They take out GBM, and Santorin arrives, and he gets a large amount of burst, but still not enough to impact that fight in the way that NRG had hoped.
Xmithie was actually just taking his red buff. He was just chilling in his own jungle, like not even part of the fight. Neither he or Darshan did anything at all.
It was honestly an economy of resources there because Darshan doesn't TP in, doesn't freak out. Xmithie, he knows what he's capable of doing there, and basically his teammates had it.
Yep. So nicely done Counter Logic Gaming. Even though they have slightly fewer tools, we're seeing great ultis out of aphromooo's Bard. One of his very best champions for sure. KiWiKiD still not with an ultimate, and you gotta wonder at a certain point, experience the valuable commodity on supports. Tempted to steal, not gonna happen. Xmithie gets over the wall, and it goes to GBM properly. So nice management there by NRG to not freak out and make that happen.
You know what I love is that we're seeing teams in this season always go after the enemy red buff, or enemy blue buff. When you're slightly ahead, just contest the blue buff. Even if it's not really a blue buff dependent mid laner, people still want to take it away. I think we're seeing that more now than any other season in history.
Yeah, and it's still worth about 200 experience to a jungler, so you know that's not shabby by any means, certainly. So XP to deny away as well. Now the fight for the Rift Herald, and that should go pretty easily to Darshan as CLG. Look at their ward control.
OQ shot arrow
all around the place. Arrow just okay. He reposts it, nicely done. Now the fight to knock the thing down. No, they've got to get away, and it's gonna go over. CLG warm up the Rift Herald for Quas to give it over to him, and well, if Darshan liked the matchup before, it's going to be worse now.
Yeah, and now Quas, he's got a bigger tool now. He's able to actually do a lot of magic damage, so it's split. That's the big thing for these guys, because he's able to use that buff and make it so that Darshan, even if he builds some armor and has those greaves, or the Ninja Tabi, he's going to be taking a decent amount of damage on top of that.
Absolutely right here. So now we're seeing the builds continue to push forward. Right, the armor pen coming out of Santorin as he goes towards Hexpinker or Youmuu's, and yeah, we got to see. I mean, this game's still pretty close, 900 apart, not too bad. NRG, though, actually, I guess, to be fair, NRG are doing better than average right now in their early games. They would actually normally be worse off than this. To be fair, they lose on average, so this isn't exactly a sign of winning, but
So do CLG, apparently.
Yeah, at least CLG, have a lead at 15, which is more uncommon for them. So a better sign for these guys, absolutely. See if these teams can make anything else of it. Next Drake is up as Infernal, which honestly means a lot for NRG. Very rarely do you have 4 champions scale off that buff, and they have it. So an even better than average Infernal Drake for NRG. Logic Gaming, par for the course. Not amazing on Vlad, to be honest, but pretty good on Stixxay and Darshan. So a better one for NRG. We'll see if they're able to secure it. Drake comes through, taking plenty of damage. Looks like there's not a lot of contest. Of course, they kill it fast thanks to the earlier Mountain Drake as well. But look at that. They're in to try to make the steal, and Santorin just wants in, and he gets it. Beautiful by Santorin, but he's going to get attacked. 1 kill picked up already by Xmithie. Now Huhi in the front line as well. A nice knockup comes out of the Bard. Oh, 4-man temper fate and temper your expectations, NRG, because you're all going down. Another 3 kills come through. Only OQ is alive. The slow out of Darshan, does he want to chase this one? The answer is yes, he does. The ace comes through, and that was not worth the Drakes to, because now it's time for, not Baron, but maybe top lane waves.
aphromoo with the hero play there. Awesome tempered fate from him. You talked about it's probably one of his best champions. He's showing why. That was absolutely perfect.
And crucial as well. That reclaps is a very big deal. CLG now ballooning very far ahead. They get to clear out the mid lane. They get to recollect. They're knocking the turret down. And this gold lead is now 4,000 when it was under 1 a minute ago.
Xmithie goes over, and Santorin walks up like, oh, got the Infernal. I did it, guys. Dies, gets burst out, doesn't have the strength of Aegis for the extra HP. Ultimate across, and then Quas flashes into it as well, because he's trying to get out of the area. And beautiful. Gets 2 flashes afterwards, and still GBM gets hit by a Cosmic Binding. The Tides of Blood flash.
Yeah.
From Huhi as well. And then the cleanup there. Perfect ace.
Absolutely. Scumbag Afro to steal the kill, but that's okay. I think at a certain point, he just deserves that. I mean, how else could he get an ass, right? So, yeah, relevant pop culture references. I keep up. Don't worry about me.
I wasn't worried.
You know what? Hey, you know what's great about this game? I don't have to talk about Cloud Drake because it's not spawning this game.
You're always going to find a way. You're always going to find a way. Yeah, the 3 worst Drakes are spawning. I'm joking.
No. This is totally relevant. We're good.
Still, CLG, substantial lead now for themselves. 4,000 gold up, and Huhi is showing that he's a bit of a threat in this game. He's keeping up in CS, and Stixxay is actually pulling a lot of work in that department as well.
Yeah, honestly, great damage output, great farm overall. The plus 30 and plus 50 in the bot lane is rough stuff. Stixxay, well, here's another game where OQ's doing really poorly, and sadly, this is just the story now of NRG, where these players are not playing to their pedigree, and that's one of the major issues. And it's funny, as time goes on, we watch more games. Like, I feel like at a certain point, we almost filtered the thoughts here. It's like, NRG's major problem is coordination, a multi-language team, and those things are true. But when they're getting smashed this hard early game, and you see that happen with players like GBM and OQ, it's hard to believe it. You're like, it's the language thing. But it's like, OQ's just legitimately playing really poorly this split. And GBM's actually having one of his worst performances in his professional career as well. And some of it's just individual.
Frustration also will impact it.
Oh, sure, yeah. I don't know what their life is like outside of the actual games.
I'm talking about tilt, when things start to go bad.
And in the middle of them?
They can go even worse.
Oh,
you
sure.
have to communicate in another language.
Oh, man. Well, communicate that. He's dead already. Look at the death arm in the bottom right corner, but now more damage to come through. Kuleng chunks down GBM to half HP. OQ's going to drop as well to a piercing light. And look at this. More kills constantly coming through. GBM has also fallen, so 3 for 0. CLG absolutely slaughtering NRG. It's 21 minutes in. They've almost got 2 aces already.
I am just absolutely baffled, going all the way back to Champion Select, that this Vladimir did not go to GBM. They first picked him a Karma for the mid lane. It even went mid, right?
Yeah.
But he's had great performances on it, and you're seeing Huhi, he can carry on this champion. He's able to dive. Stixxay as well. CLG now have 3 threats, split push 100% online, and they pretty much have to follow the CLG formula to end this game.
Yeah, it's going to work out for them, though. But the CLG formula is Huhi smashing everybody in team fight. That's a new one there. They found some new technology. Darshan running away thanks to the speed buff from his ultimate. And, he's split pushing just fine, knocking turrets down and getting his farm and whatnot. But he's not the story. It's this Huhi Vladimir.
hits Vladimir. It's going to be off by the time they even get forward, so they're down an ultimate. They're down a big tool in these fights. And Xmithie goes over the wall. Santorin's like, I saw that.
Whoops.
But that burst, Huhi, he's tanky, but his damage is absolutely insane at the moment. And Stixxay able to just chunk out OQ, get those last damage. And then Huhi with the ghost just gets to pile through the entire team.
Yep. Dive everybody all the time. Looks nice for him. Ward clear now around the Baron pit because CLG can always use that as bait, but they're up 7,500 gold roughly now.
Is just a gigantic balloon. The last time the NRG got a kill was almost 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's a pretty relevant point. This game started out 2-1 in kills. They went 2-13 in kills. That's 12 unanswered in the favor of CLG. I mean, yeah, this mid game, right? We talk about CLG. Well, they're really good against uncoordinated teams. If you want to go back to that storyline,
oh yeah.
Well, this has certainly happened. And NRG had all the tools. They had so many tools to make things happen.
They had Rift Herald buff. They had split push advantage.
And with this Rift Herald buff, it does allow Quas to beat up Darshan, though. The true damage does not get mitigated by Rift Herald. At least it shouldn't if it was coded properly, but it just still smacks him down pretty easily in the one-on-one. Baron pretty cleanly taken. No real ward control. Another attempt by Darshan. He actually waits out Quas' ulti and then wins the fight once again despite Rift Herald. So round 2 going much, much better. And you're seeing the matchup play out. Baron buff helped, I'm sure, but still a great fight for Darshan.
And Darshan's actually been playing really well this game.
Yeah, no
aside from the beginning play where they went aggressive with Xmithie, Darshan has been performing really well. I think that if you look at the way he's playing, he's not blowing his TP when he doesn't have to. It's not one of those TPs where it's like, oh, they already got this already, and ends up being useless. He's maximizing his time on the map. And that play as well, a lot of Fioras will pop their ultimate when they see the Trundle ulti, because they think it's how they're going to escape. The movement speed, or even just, I need to turn and duel him because he's going to kill me first.
Right.
He kept his cool, got a little bit of HP back with the Ravenous, and then went back in and used the ultimate knowing he had the advantage. Just really calm play from somebody who has honestly not been performing to the peak that people knew him of for this split.
But at least a little bit something better right there. Now Xmithie getting locked up, chained, rooted, stunned, everything. But look at how much damage he's not taking, staying alive. Huhi wants back in. A 3-man Bard ulti from aphromoo. A blocked stun thanks to KiWiKiD's shield. But Santorin running out of HP. Darshan takes him down off the screen. And now it's on to KiWiKiD, being slowed down, being killed. By the way, bot lane wave pushed into the turrets already. And this could mean CLG just winning the game outright as KiWiKiD is going to get chased down by Xmithie. This should be a pretty easy hunt for Jaws here as they push in for the Nexus turrets. Well under 30 minutes. Counter Logic Gaming, a shaky start, but a great mid-game. 25 minutes in, game 1, Nexus goes down. Beautiful stuff by the defending North American champions to push themselves closer and closer to a decent start to the split. One more game and they end up 4-5.
CLG with an incredibly quick game, 25 minutes, and they didn't give up a kill for the last, honestly, 15 minutes of that game.
Yep.
That's insane. Their mid-game was on point, and NRG early game looked okay, creative, but then
nothing.
aphromoo able to roam, able to get some great plays with his